1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hello, everyone. I am Yolanda, and it is your favorite therapist podcast. Here at your favorite therapist is such a tongue twister, right? Here at your favorite therapist, we bring in your favorite therapist to talk about their life as a therapist and just how they're navigating life. For those of you that tuned in last episode, you're familiar with Miss Jenae Ingram, licensed clinical social worker. I don't know if we said that last time, and the owner operator of Living Intentionally to Transform. We were having the conversation around if the world owes us, and this is just part 2 of that very, very heavy topic.
You ain't watched the first one, go back and watch.
Yes, please. It was good. Yeah. It would make sense to go back, right?
Yeah.
But you want to just kind of pick up where we left off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right back in.
So, we left off on just people being insensitive to folks who have lost a parent and lost that parent and not really didn't know them, right? And so I left off with what this guy said to me one Mother's Day, right? And so I was dating this guy, and this was actually a relationship, or I don't even want to call it a relationship because it wasn't a relationship. It was somebody I was dating, right? I told him my situation. I was open and vulnerable with him about, my mom transitioning. And I said, hey, on Mother's Day, I don't know what that's going to look like. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like. And so I would just kind of prefer to be alone. Girl, he comes over and he tells me I'm moody. You're moody.
He came over after you told him you want to be alone? First of all, boundaries.
And silly of me for not, for allowing it, right? But yeah, he came over and he was like, you moody. I said, it's just Mother's Day and I was so proud of how I handled it, right? It was just like, it's just Mother's Day and I don't have a mom, but I don't have my bio mom or my god mom, but yeah, so people can just be really, really insensitive sometimes. You about to say something? Yeah, they can just be real insensitive sometimes, and yeah, that's just what it is, right? But again, last episode we did more processing about what our reality was, what our reality is. But now, this episode, I kind of want to lean more into how we can help other people transition, who, not transition or navigate, excuse me, because this isn't a transition. It was a transition, but it's a transition that you have to navigate for the rest of your life, right? It's so permanent. Damn. Anyway, I want this space or this episode to be more on like talking to them and what we can provide them with so that they have some tools or support or feel seen as they kind of navigate this crazy ass life without a parent. So, what advice would you give someone who recently lost a parent and trying to navigate?
Excuse me. So my advice, shut up.
All right.
My advice, I think, it's gonna come from like more of the space I'm in now versus before, because again, remembering we lost our parents so young, and so how I navigated that growing up, I think it's different from how I would navigate it now.
So you want to speak to the adult them, and I speak to the inner child and younger them, or how you want to do this?
Let me go with adult.
Okay.
So I think in losing a parent, if somebody was to lose a parent and it's soon, like as an adult, you're losing an adult parent. Well, y'all know where I was going there. Because I had to catch myself like, well, would they have already been in the but I think one is taking time to really cherish the memories that you have with them. And so that might look like if said parent used to cook a dish, and that was like their thing, right? Carrying that on, like taking time to cook that dish, and when you're doing it, like being cognizant of what that was like for the parent when they were cooking it, or writing. I'm gonna give all my clients, we're gonna write some letters, okay? Because I feel like you're just able to connect.
Y'all can have that, because I ain't writing no letters.
I'm gonna give my clients. It does
not work for me. What does it do for you?
I feel like in writing, you're able to just explore and connect dots that don't always come out verbally. Mm-hmm. And so in writing, you'll flow from one point to another, and then find ways to go back and connect it, where I think when we're talking, when we're verbalizing it, I might hit on one point and then another, and then forget the first point that I hit on. So it doesn't always go back to connect. Yeah. Versus in writing, you are really able to just explore the emotion.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that in theory, right? Obviously, but for me, it's gonna sound so crazy, but recording it works for me.
That's a good option too, though.
Like recording it on a voice recording. I mean, I give the assignment to my clients who value writing. You know, I have some that is therapeutic for, but I'm not the therapist that's pushing journaling. Yeah, right, girl.
I don't know why I keep working. Now let me say, I'm not gonna push nothing. You like writing? You do? Okay, so let's go. But if they don't like writing, we ain't in school. You ain't got to do. You don't feel like
it. Writing does not. Now I'll say write over putting a note in your phone. But yeah, I have to like record myself or getting lost in music, because I say all the time, I feel like music speaks what we can't. Like I feel like that's like somebody said that. I feel like it's a quote. Like music speaks what words can't, something like that, right? So mine is like actually recording it and coming back months, maybe sometime years later, and listening to it, or music. Oh God, I love music. It is just so therapeutic. But okay, go ahead.
So. Okay, let me go back to the notion of advice as an adult to somebody losing a parent. The difference in, I think, losing a parent as an adult versus a kid is you have stuff to hold on to. Versus when you lose a parent so young, like we kind of said on the last episode, what do we have? I don't know, a voice to hold on to. Like we're kind of grasping for stuff of what we think. We're holding on to, versus when you have lived life with a parent, you have actual things to hold on to. And so actually taking time, like, did your parent have they always wore this particular sweatshirt, or they like to do, I don't know, something, they get their nails done a certain way, or mama used to like to carry a certain bag, or dad on Saturdays, he liked to grill out. Finding ways to continue to connect with those things that your parent used to do, I think in a way will bring you a level of closeness to them even in their absence.
Yeah. So my godmother passed away in 2018. And she's like essentially who like introduced, I won't say introduced me to God, but introduced me to church in the 3rd grade. Lord Jesus, we stayed in church. But anyway, obviously I grew up as a church kid, and as an adult, you know, I do Bedside Baptist a little bit more than I do the church house. But when I'm missing her, I mean, I always miss her, but I connect through her. It's gonna sound so crazy, but through hymns. Right, you know, everybody now is the new upbeat, you know, trap gospel, and it's like, baby, give me a good hymn. Give me a good hymn, baby. Give me a good hymn, and that's how I feel connected to her, because she really, really liked singing, and Lord, she had to be the loudest one in the church singing, right? But yeah, hymns definitely keep me connected to her, and that's I like that.
And I'm gonna also just throw out with the notion that death is the one thing we're guaranteed. Being intentional as an adult to make memories with our parents. because you're going to lose them. That's just the reality. You're going to lose them. They're going to lose you. It's going to happen. That's the one absolute we cannot escape. And so making sure that we are intentional to have something to hold on to once death does rear its head.
I like that you say that because I am the picture taker, right? And let me actually tell you why I take so many pictures. So my mom got killed in New York, and when my dad moved us to North Carolina, everything got lost in transition. So I don't have one picture with my mom. Not a one, like not even a cut off piece. I barely have any with my dad. I have pictures. I have zero. I have zero baby pictures. I have no idea what I look like.
I think our parents just did a piss poor job of taking pictures. I don't have none of my daddy. I have some of him, but none with him.
So no, I go to my aunt's house and she has all the pictures, right? But I don't know, maybe they did do a piss poor job.
I think
because I think she has the pictures that she took, right? And I'm the picture taker. And at one time I felt bad for her, like Yolanda always got that phone. I mean, within reason, right? I took pictures, but now I don't feel bad about it. Like I take the pictures, and you know, at our age now, we're just losing. Like we're starting to like lose people, and so yeah, take the pictures. Be intentional. Take the pictures. Do all the things. I was listening to this podcast, and the guy had said, well, I'm saying the guy like I don't know who they are. My homeboys had said, we have less time with our parents now than we had before. And I was just like, oh, let me go see my daddy because it's
that's
so
real.
Though. Yeah,
that's very real. You're closer to the end than you are to the beginning.
Okay. Okay, so be intentional about spending time, taking pictures, honoring them by doing things that, you know, connect you to them. What else, if anything?
How else can we prepare or maybe mourn the loss of an adult as an adult? I'm sitting here thinking.
It's okay. While you're thinking, I'll kind of tap into like the inner child, or you know, who knows, someone might be listening and want to provide some support for a child. Sit down. Stop moving, right? Because like to your point, last episode, y'all gotta go listen to last episode. We kept moving, right? We kept doing all of the things. And I think that was like this subconscious response to it was a subconscious way of avoidance, right? And here we are as adults now, still navigating that anger.
Still a little avoidant.
Yeah, still a little avoidant. And so okay, maybe my message isn't to the kids to sit down, because kids are just going to do what feels natural to them, but more so to the guardians. I can't say the parents because we're assuming the parents transitioning on, but whoever the guardian is, whoever the caretaker is, allow that child to be heard and be intentional about seeing that child, right? I don't care if that's therapy. I don't care if that's a spiritual advisor. I don't care what it looks like, right? But create a space, create a platform for the kid to be seen and to be heard, right? Because kids don't all the time know how to identify an emotion. That's why I love the feelings wheel and, you know, those pictures with the, oh, how are you feeling?
I have my adult clients bring up that feelings wheel.
Yeah.
How we feeling? Bring it up. Let's identify, because even as adults, we don't know.
Yeah. I hear it so much, and you know, I've worked with kids, but Lord knows I don't never got to work with another one. Not in this capacity. I love children, but I just don't like doing like mental health work with them. I would hear guardians or parents or whoever say, "That's fine. They've been up doing this and doing that," and I'm just like, No, they aren't. Like, their routine has changed for the rest of their life, and the assumption that they're okay is crazy.
So let me also clarify, because I don't need no other mental health professionals on here trying to check us. We're talking about a child versus an inner child.
Oh, yes.
A child
person.
who's losing, yeah.
A little person.
Because I know we started off saying inner child.
Yeah.
Like, it is not only inner. We know. We know.
Yeah, we know our stuff. There's some of them out there that don't know this stuff. But, let's transition the conversation a little bit. We're gonna still give y'all like feedback on how to navigate grief. We're kind of, I think grief needs to be a diagnosis.
Good.
I swear.
I don't understand why it's not.
I was on Instagram one time and I saw a post that said I spent enough time with my anger to understand that her real name was grief. You saw that post? When I tell you, I threw the phone like, and I don't subscribe to a lot of these memes and these social media
cliche stuff.
Yeah, but that one, what the kids do?
Oh wait, I was told it's this.
That thing there, that was good. But inner child, right? What does that mean?
Okay, so we're gonna get clinical. Okay,
not for long, cause we gotta go work tomorrow. But anyway, go ahead.
So when we start talking to our inner child, essentially that is a part of us that still remains, that may have been maybe unhealed, untapped into as you essentially progress throughout life. And so when I look at my inner child, especially when I first started doing like therapy work, as far as me going to therapy, there was this notion of that anger sitting with, well, adult version, I know she's angry. But when I really sat with the anger, it was really that little girl, nobody was listening to her. Nobody gave her space to really say, it's okay to feel ... So it was that younger version of me that was essentially, I gotta watch my words, my family might watch this. This younger version of me that maybe was not, I'm using it because we keep saying seen. Maybe she was not seen, she wasn't heard. And the behaviors in adulthood was really just a reflection of the younger inner child that did not have space to explore whatever it was that I needed to explore when it was needed. And so inner child is essentially just a younger version of you that's still like speaking, still showing up. She's showing up in adulthood, but it's really just the younger, that childlike version of us that needs someone to listen, someone to hear us. Maybe healing, whatever that looks like.
It's so interesting. Interesting, whatever. Me and my sister a lot of times send like pictures back and forth, whether it be my cousin sent it to me or she found it, and it was a picture of me. I think I might have been like 3 or 4, and I was so cute in the picture. My sister kept my little hair done, but I was so cute in the picture, and I think she sent it like with the intentions on like, oh, Yolanda's gonna love this one, girl. I boo-hoo and started crying. And I sent her a text message back, and I was like, I just feel so sorry for her. She ain't respond. She ain't know what to say. But I think she was like, girl, I'm gonna let her process this shit on her own. My family is right. My family is so interested when it comes to emotions, but yeah, I was triggered, right? Because for me, a lot of times when I see pictures, it just kind of takes me back to that time, whether it be from college and, all the things. And so I saw that picture and I was just like, girl, you had no idea. And girl, you didn't consciously know what your reality was, because during that time, we were in North Carolina, and I know the story now. My dad was always my hero and all the things, but I just kind of knew. Now I know a lot of things that he was navigating in that season that put him in a position to not always show up as the best version of him, right? Like, love my daddy down, but he dealt with a lot of grief. right?
True.
He lost, after my mom, he lost his mom, then he lost his grandmother. And now you have these 3 kids. He has 5 children, so that I'm clear, but he had 3 that he was responsible for raising
solely.
But like out of nowhere. It's like you navigating life, you doing your thing, and my wife take care of the kids and I bring the money home, and now you got to take care of the kids, and you had to move from your norm, and now you working a job, all the things. And so when I looked at that picture, I saw my reality looking at that picture, and I just felt so freaking sorry for her. So sorry for her, so much that I printed the picture. Well, I think I might have just had the picture here, but anyway, the picture is up on my refrigerator now. And obviously, my fat ass always go in the refrigerator. Right. But no, I wanted to put the picture somewhere that I could like constantly see it, right? So that I was intentional with having a conversation when we talk about like healing that inner child or seeing that inner child, so that I was constantly having a conversation with her, right? And sometimes like when I'm like headed out to work or headed out to have a good time or whatever it is, like I'll just kind of like talk to the picture on the way out, like okay girl, like look what I'm doing. So kind of like this little girl looking at this new and improved is that the word? Yeah, looking at this adult version that made it happen, right? That's doing all of the things that she kind of prayed that she would do, and just doing all of the things. So that's also a way to like heal that inner child. This could be a whole episode about inner child, but I don't want to focus so much on inner child. But what are some ways that you heal your inner child?
I think it's, for me, even in sitting here, I think of the notion of like my inner child, and I think back of younger Jenae, she always had to be so strong. And I think for other people, there was this perception that like, oh, she's okay. Like we say, she stay busy, she do all the things, she get great grades, sometimes straight A's, maybe 1B because mama didn't play that. And so always like showing up. And so there was always this notion that Jenae got it. And I think even as an adult, people still see Jenae as that younger version, like she got it. And granted, I do, because what I tell y'all, I'm resilient, right? And so I'm always going to have it. But I wish sometimes in healing the inner child, there was space for her to know that you don't have to have it. And so going back and giving her, creating an environment for her to know that it's okay to stumble. It's okay to break down. It's okay to feel. Because she didn't necessarily have that. So going back and reassuring her that she has that now. And also, like, I do want to give clarity, because I don't ever want it to seem like my mom, in raising me, that she just wasn't this nurturing mom. Because I really don't want it to come off that way. I think my mom did the best with what she had. She saw that she was raising a little girl without a dad. And so for mom, it was, I need to make sure that Jenae gonna have it on her own. And she always drove that home for me. You ain't gonna never need nobody. Period. Right? And so she I think she pushed that, and she did a great job, because here I am, right? I did, when you look at life, like 25, bought my first house. You know what I mean? Moved completely away from family where I had nobody and made it. You know what I mean? And so,
girl, you had me. Don't do that because you moved. No, I'm just joking.
But when you think about like people picking up and like literally moving 10, 12 hours away from family, and it's just like, no, like I really ain't got nobody down here. Like I'm gonna make it though, right? And so to that degree, my mom did what she set out to do. She raised a daughter that can make it on her own. Period. But that little girl still needed that emotional space to say, you can feel. Go ahead.
Two things, right? When you said, darn, this happens to me in therapy. You said, I don't want to make it seem like my mom just wasn't this nurturing mom. She was doing what she needed to do. What came to mind was this was the first time that she was raising a little girl whose dad had transitioned, right? And so, you know, silly of us, or shame on us to be upset that they don't know how to raise a kid, or they struggle. I don't want to say don't know how to. They struggle to raise a kid who has lost a second parent, right? No, there's no formula. To that, right? There's no rule book, there's no nothing, and so we can definitely give our parents
grace, a lot of
grace,
yeah,
right? And it like, I think for the same with me, I think a lot of times it's difficult to speak on this topic because it almost seems as if you're talking down, about your parents, and it's like, no, I'm not talking down about them, but I'm speaking to what things look like. Now, the way you interpret it is up to you. Because I love my daddy down, baby. That is my dog. But there were just some things that he didn't know how to navigate because he didn't know how to navigate. This is the first time he was ever doing it.
And it's also fair that in them not knowing that it may have impacted us in the way that we're still dealing with today. That's fair.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, the second thing, you were talking about your parent, your mom, and it'll come to me. It'll definitely come to me. But yes, I love that. I think a way that I honor my inner child is kind of what I'm doing. I used to dream, baby. There were so many things that I wanted to do, about, you know, and I would get inspiration from television. I would get inspiration from my sisters. I just would get all of this inspiration, and I wanted to do it, but I just didn't know how to get there. Right? And like last episode, I said, you know, something that I admire about myself was just being resourceful and just asking. So I think every time that I'm asking a quote unquote silly question, or I'm approaching this stranger, it's like, girl, this is all in alignment to accomplish that goal that when you were a little kid, you said you were going to do. One night, I just was not feeling, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't feel inspirational. I won't say I felt like a failure, but I was just like, what is all of this for? Right? And sometimes I have to go and find inspiration. I don't just wake up and feel like, oh, I'm feeling inspired. Like, that's not me. Like, sometimes I have to actually go and find inspiration. And I went and looked at my yearbook, and you know, at the like when you're graduating, it was like, oh, where do you see yourself in 10 years or something like that. And what I initially wanted to be was a speech pathologist, but I was gonna have to transfer from Winston, just all the things, right? But what I wrote in the yearbook was, in 10 years, I see myself owning my own speech therapy clinic. Living in like Greensboro, North Carolina, right? And I just kind of sat there and I was just like, granted, the location is different, but at that time I didn't see the world larger than Greensboro, North Carolina. But I went to Winston, which is close to Greensboro. But anyway, that filled me up so much because, okay, the location is different, but the mission never freaking changed. It never changed. And of course, in Yolanda fashion, some tears came to my eyes, right? Because I'm like, yo, you doing everything you said you would do, right? And you're a statistic, right? And so reflection a lot of times helps to honor that little girl. I mean, and there's so many ways, right? Like there's so many things, but I want to kind of go back to the parents or the guardians or the adults and what you can do to make sure that that kid has a healthy way of navigating. I actually talked about this earlier in a session. Allow that kid to have a voice. They already feel like their story is totally different, right? They already feel isolated. They already feel judged. They already feel unseen. At minimum, let them have a voice. Because what happens is we already are silent because no one understands us, no one hears us. Off rip, we're already silent, right? And so if they don't create a platform for us to have a voice, then that just silences our voice even more.
Yeah, I would agree. and giving them space to have a voice, but also maybe intentionally checking in about how they're feeling. Because if there's the expectation that these kids are just going to dump, like, oh, I'm feeling so sad today, and they're probably not. But what they do need is someone to actually, how are you feeling? And maybe initially the first 10 times, oh, I'm fine, nothing, I'm okay, you know. But if you keep asking and you keep creating that space and you keep making sure that this is safe ground for you, eventually they will open up. But you got to create that for them. They're kids. You can't expect them to navigate emotions as if they're adults, especially when we realize that most adults don't navigate their emotions well. And so don't be pushy, right? We don't want to push them to the point where they're like, okay, leave me alone. But like making sure that we're, if and when you're ready to talk, I'm here.
I think also educating yourself. And this came from when I worked at a behavioral health hospital years ago. I would do the family sessions, and a lot of the families did not understand bipolar. A lot of the families didn't understand depression, right? And I remember one session, the cousin, I want to say, there was like, I don't know anything about this, but I printed off this stuff, and this is what I learned, and it says that if I, allow you to listen, so educate yourself on how to show up for these kids, because that makes all the difference. That makes them feel seen. Like you're making a conscious effort to understand me.
And let me also, understand that grief is not going to go away for them. And so while they may have seasons where it's just like, oh no, they're like coping really well, they may also have seasons where they're just not. And so giving space for that, that it's okay for them to have moments throughout life where they're just not okay.
Okay. So we started off with like wanting to give or educate or provide resources and all the things for individuals who might be navigating, feeling like the world owes them by way of their parents transitioning. So let me ask this question. Is it okay to sit in resentment when it's time to let go?
Is it okay? I think that's what you need to do. I'm always gonna say, who am I to tell you it's not okay? But I'm gonna also say, so my grandma gave me some advice years ago, a little unrelated but still related, and I be telling this to my clients all the time. Now, the word she used was a little different, because I was having a pity party essentially about something. She was like, it's okay to have your pity party, but it's not okay to unpack and live there, right? And so even when we think about the notion of grief or resentment, so to speak, it's okay to feel it. It might be even okay to sit in it for a little bit, right? Feel your feels. But we don't want to unpack and live there. At some point, we got to check out of this hotel, right? We're not moving in permanently. We got to check out at some point. And so
I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah, girl, grandma's been getting all the wisdom. I'd be stealing it. Okay. And so yes, feel it. It's okay, but don't stay there.
Is it okay to sit in resentment when it's time to let go? So I'm going to address the last part, when it's time to let go.
Who determines that?
There you go. Right?
It's time to let go.
Like, who can determine when it's time to let go? Now, if I was sitting on that screen or in front of that client and they say, they ask, like, how do we determine it? For me, it's going to always be when it's impacting your day-to-day, right? If it's impacting your regular ADLs, right? If it's impacting your ability to get up and go to work, right? If you're withdrawing from friends and family, right? And I don't even like the word let it go, right? I think it's just time to put it down. Just for a little while. Just put it down for a little while. But also gaining the tools so that when you come back to it, you're not where you were when you left.
Yeah.
Right? no one's telling you to let it go. No one's telling you not to feel. But if it's impacting your ability to navigate the world, then we got to put it down for a little while.
Yeah.
That's not being insensitive. That's just being real.
Right.
Right?
You got to be able to live.
Yeah.
So, let me also say, when you're dealing with grief, you're never really going to let it go. That's just the truth of the matter. It's like Yolanda said, sometimes you're going to put it down for a little bit, you're going to pick it up, you're going to put it back down, you're going to pick it up, you're going to put it back down. But it's never really gone. That's just true.
Do you think having a parent transition influence your decision to have a child? Or had an influence on you yearning or desiring a child?
Yes. Because if I did not, how does my dad's legacy carry on? Because I'm his only child, right? And so, yeah, if I did not have a child, he ends with me. So, yes, I would say that was, granted, I always wanted kids. Like, I love kids. So, yeah. If I didn't, he ends with me. But let me also say the other side of that is now that I've had a child, and you really start to sit with what comes with having a child.
I can imagine.
Right? But then also, we're not going to go down a rabbit hole, but we're a black woman in America. We're more likely to die in childbirth than anywhere else. And so when you sit with that on the other side, it goes back to what I talked about in the last episode. I have a baby. Do I want to put myself in a position trying to have another one that could potentially take me away from the one I have? My brain goes in so many places, you know what I mean? So the death of a parent really does impact you because, again, for us, other people are like, oh, you could potentially die. And it's like, okay. But, like, no, I know the reality, the lived experience of not having a parent. I don't want that for her. And so, therefore, do I have another one?
I was going to say, so are we having another one?
Do I have it or do I play it safe?
Yeah.
I have her and let me just be here for her. That I don't know. I haven't come to terms with yet.
Yeah. For me, yes. It definitely has had an influence on me wanting a child. Like I said, I don't like working with kids, but I love, oh my God, I love babies. I love cuddling with them. I love smelling them. I just love babies. But I want to be the mom that I didn't get to experience. Because, again, not discrediting my godmom, she was there. And she was a lot like your mom. It was like, get it done, make it happen. You ain't gonna have to depend on nobody. She wasn't with all that hugging and kissing, and she made sure I had what I needed. And I was actually talking to my god sister about this. It was so funny how she wasn't super nurturing, but it's gonna sound crazy, but she was so arrogant about her kids. Like it was very seldom that she said, I'm proud of you. What would happen would be like, oh, I did this. She was like, duh. It's just like, I didn't expect anything less. Right. I remember we had something called like Miss Wallace Rose Hill. At Winston it was like Miss WSSU. And you had to run for your senior year. Girl, the summer going into my senior year, she's like, hey, let's go buy your dress. And I was like, I haven't even ran for it yet. She was like, girl, come on. You're going to win. And the dress was beautiful. And she, right, I won it. So she was just so arrogant about her kids. But anyway, yes, losing my bio mom definitely influenced how, like, the mom that I want to be. Right? And losing her and my godmom, how my godmom was amazing. She just wasn't super gentle, right? She just wasn't. So, yeah, you think we gave them a few resources?
I think so. And if all else fails, maybe get you a therapist. Go find you one. There's
Tell them where they can find them.
I was about to go. there's a different. You have options. Therapy for Black girls. You have Psychology Today. You have Therapy Tribe. The Mental Health Match. Those are all like therapy directories that you can go to and find a therapist. Reach out. Your doctor's offices oftentimes have people that they can refer you to. Your friends, okay? If they see a therapist, ask them, who do you see? Even if you don't see their therapist has resources and a network that they can refer you to. And so just don't, all else fails, social media, you're gonna find a therapist, okay? I don't always recommend them social media therapists because I have time to be on there talking about nothing. But
nothing. Zero,
okay?
Nada.
I'd be like,
whatever sells.
Yeah, right. Okay, I guess.
Get your bag.
Right,
Get
but
paid,
it has time it'd be the most cliche stuff that anybody can tell you.
Integrity.
But yeah, just make sure you are reaching out to people. If you're not in therapy, you may know someone, or someone you know may know someone that can connect you with someone. But if not, start at those directories that I referred you to.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, therapy can be expensive. I think I'm on the lower end, but therapy can be expensive, and I wanted to make therapy accessible to people, and so I actually have something called a first step program.
Okay.
And so what that is people who struggle with paying for therapy, and we will do an assessment to kind of assess like your ability to pay. So don't come trying to play me, right? Because I don't want people to abuse resources, right? And so what the first step program is you get two therapy sessions for free, and the sessions after are $25. So go to www.alignminds.org and scroll. Yeah, just press book me or book now, and you can sign up for the program. And there's more details on the website about the program. But get a therapist, y'all, or whatever is therapeutic for you. And I kind of want to close on, the world actually doesn't owe you, but you do owe yourself. To heal and keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. This was very heavy. We got a toast. Okay. We got a toast. This was a heavy one. And I thank you so much for coming and being vulnerable. And I'm always in your corner. I don't know if they can hear me. Put my mic back. I'm always in your corner as we navigate this life as children of parents who have transitioned, therapists, all the things. Love you much, girlie.
Thank you. Let me tell y'all where to find me.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm served Georgia and Alabama, and you can find me at www.itslittherapy.com. It's littherapy.com.
It's lit. Thanks again, girl.
Love you.
Love you too.